people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, an RPG podcast built for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. My guest this week is Luke Brown. Luke is editor-in-chief at ArcadeSushi.com, a writer and reviewer for ComicsAlliance.com, a longtime friend of mine, and part of my home Dungeon World campaign. We're playing Technoir by Jeremy Keller, a role-playing game of high-tech, hard-boiled drama. This is the first of a multi-part series of an indeterminate length that I am calling Faith in the Valley of Darkness. You'll see why later. Look for part 2 of that real soon. As always, if you're interested in coming onto the show as a guest, you can send me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And with all that out of the way, I'm going to throw it over to me in the past so he can kick off the show. Take it past me.
Heard you only live once, that's cool I suppose, but you can live forever through the songs you compose, experiences you share, the highs and the lows.
Thanks, future me. I'm super excited. My guest this week is Luke Brown. Luke, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing so well. So there's like a million things that you do. I don't know how you have time for it all. So let's. So why don't you just run through the stuff that you do and all the cool projects you work on?
Well, I mean, technically, I really only do one thing, right, for Comics Alliance and Arcade Sushi, which are sister sites, and I cover toys and video games and geeky culture stuff in that vein. Well,
it's the coolest thing in the world, so, just take the compliment.
No, I appreciate the compliment. You made it sound like I do so many things. I have
fair
been in some YouTube videos and such, but, nothing that was ever things I do. I'm a perennial guest star in a lot of things, like this show today, so...
Well, good. So, So you're experienced in guest starring. This will be great. Okay, yeah. So this week, we're playing Technoir by Jeremy Keller. Got it.
Okay.
We're playing Technoir by Jeremy Keller. I didn't know, have you made a character yet, or are we making it live on the air?
No, I figured it'd be cool to make it, live on air.
That's what I was thinking, because I know Technoir, a big part of, character creation's a big part of it, because, it changes based on, the setting and stuff. I didn't know if you had a chance to look over the settings, or the sprawls is what they call them, but I have one that I'm really a big fan of, but if you had looked them over.
I did not. I came to this willing and ready to just let you kind of guide me along my journey into this cyberpunk noir adventure.
Cool. Okay, well then we're going to be setting things in the Los Angeles sprawl. So then we'll start, then that'll come up in character creation as we kind of get there. But
okay.
So the way character creation works in Technoir is you start out by building a character based on a number of predefined background choices. Specifically, there are 9 training programs that you can choose from.
Okay.
And these kind of inform your skills, your character's personality, their looks, that kind of thing. There's a list of 9 backgrounds.
Okay.
Which I will read because we're a podcast and that's on audio medium. So it's bodyguard, courier, criminal, doctor, engineer, escort, investigator, pilot, and soldier. So you'll choose 3 of those, and then that'll come up again and again as you sort of fill in your skills and the adjectives that sort of define you.
I see. All right, so yeah, we'll definitely do a investigator, a pilot, and... Oh, this is tough. What another...
And this is all just sort of your character's background as to how they got into whatever urban conspiracy they've gotten in.
And an escort.
Escort.
Because I like the adjectives that I can use.
Yeah, I'm a big... I feel like every time I've made a character just to sort of teach myself the system, I went towards escort. It's a very lucrative... Okay, so now that we've chosen your backgrounds, and you kind of, now that you've looked at them, kind of start thinking in your head of the background and sort of the things. They're not necessarily you're maybe not necessarily literally a pilot or an escort or an investigator, but they're sort of just the things that inform who your character is.
Sure.
So, the first thing you're going to fill out is your verbs. You'll notice that next to that column, each one has a list of 3 verbs next to it.
Okay.
Each time you see one of those in your backgrounds, you'll increase that number by 1, and that's going to increase the number of dice you can roll when trying to influence other characters later in the game.
Okay.
Other characters or things.
So am I supposed to tell you, or do you know?
Oh, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right along with you. So
Okay.
I'm making the same notes that you're making. Oh, and I should mention that everything automatically. So these are all just bonuses on top of the things. That is something that I forgot.
Right. So this is with all of these. I have a +1 in these areas, right?
Yeah. You'll have at least two dice. So you'll roll 2 dice when doing one of the things listed, or 3 dice. If something comes up multiple times, like I think detect comes up in 2 of your 3, so you'll roll 3 dice in that case. And then if something doesn't come up at all, you'll roll 1 dice if it comes up.
I see. So everything is a default 1.
Yeah, you'll always get at least 1 dice to roll. So once you've got that marked down, let me know, and we'll move on to adjectives.
Okay.
Now the adjectives are just sort of how your character looks, acts, sounds, that kind of thing. So for each of the 3 backgrounds that you've chosen, you'll pick one of the 3 adjectives listed, and that'll fill out like your character's description, so to speak.
All right. Let's go with savvy, persistent ace.
All right. Feel like I'm getting an idea of your character already. This is really exciting.
Yeah, you thought I was going to pick sexy, but I turned.
See, I was thinking limber was going to come up because I feel like that's just a super like evocative word, almost like unpleasantly evocative. Okay, yeah. So for the next part, we're going to skip ahead in the rulebook to page towards the end of the book in the Los Angeles Sprawl section. This is where the setting is. The story takes place. And you're going to choose 3 connections from that. And then the other thing that's important, so there's 6, you'll choose 3 of the 6 people listed on 154 through 156.
Okay.
And there's a little name and 1-sentence descriptor of who they are. And then if you look in their little character sheet, it says favors. You'll make note of those because you can sort of draw on those characters to give you like bonuses and do things for you. Some of that might come up during character creation.
All right. Okay. Let's see here.
If that makes sense. I hope that I'm not completely rambling.
Oh no, I see what you're talking about now. Favors. Okay. Okay. Let's go with Killian 9.
All right. Killian 9, the sultry nightclub singer and gangster arm candy.
Yes. And let's go with Sid Martini.
That's a great name. I like that name. Sid Martini.
And I guess things don't get much better in the future.
They do not. Sid Martini, drug and weapons runner, found at the docks in Long Beach.
Do I want a guy who does a chop shop?
I mean, it really depends on what you think. Like, I think more than anything...
What is sharking?
Sharking is loan sharking. It
okay.
It actually will come up in character... That's one of the ones that will come up in character creation, potentially, is if you're buying things and you run out of money... You can call in a favor to your loan shark contact, and they'll give you extra money, but in response, they get roped into whatever the plot line is.
I see.
One of the cool things about Technoir is that it actually has procedural like storytelling in like from where I like my perspective.
Okay.
As GM, like the story fills out as you go through it. Like I'm finding out the story as you are.
Interesting.
One of the examples of that is when you call in favors to your connections, they get connected to whatever the mystery is. And like calling in a loan shark is one example of that.
It's really hard to pick who my friends are going to be because there's so many good things out of these people. I'm like, ooh, do I want a Kevlar vest? I don't know. Now, you know what? Just because, let's go with Pi Larson.
Pi Larson's a good one. She is...
Oh, it's a she.
Beverly Hills cyber surgeon to the stars.
And she has Splice.
Splice is good. That helps you get... As we get into the shopping trip part of the character creation, that helps you get implants and cybernetics at a discount.
Okay.
Normally it adds like 5 credits to buy a thing, but if you have somebody... If you tap a connection with the Splice benefit, or the Splice favor, if you call in a Splice favor, it takes away that extra cost. But again, it comes with the cost of potentially having them get roped into whatever crap you're roped into. Everything has a cost.
Wow, such is life in the fantasy world of Technoir.
Yes. So now that you've chosen your relationship, or your connections, you're going to assign adjectives to each of them to sort of define more of what your character's relationship to these connections is.
Okay, alright, so assign relationship adjectives.
Yeah, so there's a list of 9 adjectives. You'll choose one of those for each of the characters on your connections list.
Okay, and is that how they feel towards me or how I feel towards them?
It is a description of your relationship with one of them, so it's how you feel about them.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily describe how they feel about you.
Gotcha. All right.
So how do you feel about Killianine? What is it about this singer that stands out in your mind?
Well, I feel like if we're going super noir trappings here, it has to be affectionate, right? Lustful's probably too strong.
Nothing is too strong, but I think affectionate's good.
And let's see. We will be loyal to Sid.
Okay. That's interesting. I like that.
And trusting of Pi.
All right.
Always trust in the Pi.
Always trust in Pi. So yeah. Now we get to the shopping trip.
Okay.
You begin with 10 creds to purchase objects. See, this is why I said I reserve the right to say that it doesn't jump around, because there's a list of objects on page 40 that you can shop through.
All right.
Anything cybernetic that's built into you costs an additional 5 unless you call on Pi to splice you up for free.
Okay.
And the way that it works is, if you look at a given item will have, looking at guns, it's equal. The cost of the item is equal to the number of tags, which are things which help you trigger push dice, which are just extra benefits, like extra dice that you can roll for a given action. Each one has the number of those that it has is how much it costs, just as a shorthand.
Okay.
So a Barker pistol, which is a standard body pistol, costs 2 because it's loud and powerful. And you can use that in any way you could describe how having a loud gun is useful, or a powerful gun is useful.
Let me see.
And then at the bottom of any given category of stuff, there's a number of upgrades that you can add to a given thing to up the cost by 1 per thing. So if you wanted your gun to have a camera on it, you could add cam, and it would take it from 2 to 3, because now there are 3 adjectives on it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as you're looking around, I'm gonna jump over and start rolling up some things and figuring out a mystery for you to get roped into. And then if you have any questions, let me know.
All right.
Including
so
if you want to call any favors in.
It's each thing costs 5 creds to surgically install.
Yeah.
For cybernetics.
Anything cybernetic, yeah.
And that's on top of its cost.
Yeah.
So if I wanted any of that stuff, that's okay. So that's already way too expensive. I got it.
Oh, and there are. Let me pull up the list of favors, because there's some specific things that you can do if something is too expensive.
Okay.
Connections who perform fix or chop favors can provide discounts for certain categories of objects where you can provide discounts on those. Splice favors can install things for free. You can also hit up a connection with the shark favor to get additional money for your for purchases.
So with the splice favor, then, like, is that per one item or like as many as I want?
I believe it's per item. Yeah, it's install 1 object for free.
Okay. So I would only have to pay base cost for that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A shark can give you additional 10 credits, but they expect a repayment, which you'll write. Just make a note that you owe them a debt.
Okay.
And the fix favor can sell you up to 3 objects in specified categories, each at a discount of 2 credits. And the discount may make them free, but you'll add the stolen tag to each one. And then, like I said, any questions you have as you look through stuff, let me know, and I can answer them.
Okay, I think I got everything I want to get. I had 10 credits.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to call in my splice favor.
Okay.
And I'm going to get the head jack for 4.
Okay.
Then I'll also get the stinger gun.
Stinger.
The stealth suit. The jumpsuit.
Stealth suit and a jumpsuit.
And the router patch.
And a router patch. Let me just write one thing down real quick. Since you called in a favor, I'm gonna write Pi's name down on my list.
Okay.
Of stuff, just to know that she is going to eventually get roped into things. So we've purchased objects. The next thing we're gonna do is you're just gonna fill out. You're gonna use all the information that you've got and just sort of fill out the rest of your character's sort of identity.
Okay.
So you'll come up with a name and a nickname for them, as in like a technical, like a hacking sort of way. What they're known on in the net, in addition to what their real name is.
Oh, I see. All right. What they're known on on the net.
Because at this point, in the future, everyone has an online identity.
Okay.
I know that's crazy to think of at Luke M. Brown.
What's a good, silly future name? All right, well, let's see. We'll make my character a girl.
Okay.
And her online name can be Lazarus.
Lazarus. Write that down.
And her real name can be Faith. Do we need a last name?
I think Faith is fine.
Okay.
Just Faith. A girl named Faith goes by Lazarus. I'm digging it. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all we need to dig in to the actual game itself.
All right.
So, I'm going to read, so that you know and so the listeners know, I'm going to read the short background of the Los Angeles sprawl.
Got it.
It's hard to tell in Los Angeles when reality bleeds into a matrix. All 5 senses streaming through the interface to play back an immersive experience anytime, anywhere. After decades of playing second fiddle to Vancouver, Los Angeles is back on top of the entertainment business, and this is the new canvas upon which they plant their lush paychecks and exploit eager Midwesterners. Los Angeles' perpetual problem is how it sits in a basin, trapped between mountains and the Pacific, and the earthquake-prone landscape forces development to build out, not up. Sprawled across the bottom of this bowl, it sits under a sheet of smog. Once the vanguard of air-purifying technology and policy, a rash of politicians with a collective boner for deregulation has plummeted the city back into the haze. Somewhere behind the glitzy, augmented reality billboards and posters is the shadowy, hard surface of the real City of Angels. It's a city of gang violence, despairing immigrants, and forsaken dream chasers. They can try to cover it up with hot interface graphics, but the cold truth is always just one layer down, ready to bleed out into the open. So let me ask you, Faith, how long have you lived in Los Angeles?
In my head, my character is in her mid-20s, so I'm going to say that she's lived here for 6 years.
Okay, so 6 years. Yeah, okay. So let me ask you a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Your mid-20s, you came when you were sounds like you came over when you were about 17, 18, late teens. Where in your background did you learn how to pilot?
I did a military brat.
Okay. Military brat. I like that a lot. Cool. Yeah. So our story begins with a phone call to you. Well, let me ask you. You're an investigator. Are you a professional investigator or more just a troublemaker?
I wouldn't say I'm a troublemaker. I tend to think of myself more as a problem solver.
Problem solver. It's good. No, that's really good. So, you get a call from your good friend, Sid Martini.
Okay.
You pick up the phone. Hey, Lazarus, what's going on? Need your help with something. You dig into things, right? You're good at looking into stuff. I need your help looking into something.
All right.
Guy I work with, Michelangelo Dumas. You ever heard of him? He's an investigator. He did a couple pieces. He worked with the press on a couple pieces about the gang violence.
We've crossed paths.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't quite like the fact that he's dead. Because, he had a couple things on me that I wasn't super happy with. I'm wondering if you might be able to slip into the crime scene, look around a little bit, see if you can't come up with a clue to give me an idea of who I need to shake down.
All right. We could probably figure something out.
All right. So, he sends you an email with the coordinates. Dumas's apartment. It's in the lower side of town, or the crappier part of town, so to speak.
Okay.
You heading right down there, or is there anything else you need to do beforehand?
Well, I would if I need to sneak in and avoid detection, obviously I would put on my stealth suit.
Sure.
And as always, just in case, I bring my little pistola.
Okay. So are you heading over there at night or during the day? What's your game plan?
I feel like if this gentleman, Mr. Michelangelo, is calling me, it's probably in the evening hours.
Oh, well, Sid is calling you. Michelangelo's dead.
Oh, right. Sid calls me. It's Michelangelo.
Yeah, but he definitely calls you at night, though.
Yeah. Sid calls me at night, and I feel like he's on the pulse quickly. So the death is recent. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so
he's kind of just caught wind.
Yeah, if he just caught wind, that means that it's still probably technically a semi-hot crime scene, perhaps, or if he was...
That's probably not inaccurate to assume, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going over at night.
Okay. So you arm up your stealth suit. Now, you don't have a car.
Correct.
So let me ask you: are you going to try and get a cab, or are you calling in a favor to get you a ride across town?
Well, I figure since Sid is already enacting me to give him a hand here, I will call on him to help me with a ride.
Sure. He rolls up in. Let me describe to you Sid's car, in case he has a cool car that I'm not sure of. In fact, he does, and so I want to make sure I describe it exactly right. Yeah, he pulls up in an armored truck.
An armored truck, okay.
Yeah, like a basically not far off from like a moving truck. He pulls up, and it looks run down, but it looks like it's supposed to look run down. Like, you're observant enough that you can kind of notice that the areas where it's kind of rusted, where the paint has been chipped off, look like they've been done by hand rather than actually being a crappy car.
Okay.
So it's a car that somebody wants you to think looks bad rather than a car that actually looks bad.
Got it.
So he pulls up, he pulls on the horn real obnoxiously, considering that it's like 12 o'clock at night. He pulls on his, like, truck's horn as you get in. And he's, I just like messing with the normies. So the two of you drive down. Do you have any questions for him as you're driving across town?
Yeah, I mean, has he learned any more about where or how it happened?
Yeah, he might have. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about this over the phone. You know, paranoia. It's occupational hazard, phone taps and stuff. But I'd been dealing with Demas on a job, so I didn't know if that's something you might want to know about. But
well, what was the job?
So I don't know if you've heard of the Orion pathogen. It's an anti-aging thing. You know, it's how we stay young.
Okay.
You know, nobody's as young as they look these days. Well, a case of that went missing, and that runs for somewhere in the area of 2,000 creds on the black market. You know, people pay to look their best, especially in a city like this.
Okay. That's a pretty valuable crate.
Yeah, so he was looking into who took that.
Interesting.
So I have to assume, I don't know if he was working any other jobs, but I gotta assume that that's got something to do with it.
Okay. Seems to be enough to go on in regards to searching his apartment.
Yeah, that should be good. So, you pull up, he lives in a crappy high-rise apartment, or low-rise apartment. They build out, not up. So he lives in like a little more than a motel, essentially. You know, there's some sleek video ads playing on the walls, but they're for like check cashing places.
Okay.
So Sid gives you Dumas's room number, and even if he didn't, you'd notice that it would be the one that is covered in police tape. The one situated behind the cop car with its lights flashing, with the two officers eating hot dogs in front.
Okay.
So let me ask you what your move is now.
All right. So is it a brightly lit area, or is the cop cars kind of like it?
There's a single spotlight over sort of the middle of the parking lot.
Okay.
And then there's the police lights, but otherwise, no. Otherwise, it's fairly dark.
Okay. Is there only one way in to the room?
It looks like you might be able to go, if you were able to get into a room and out the back, you might be able to climb up the sort of back terrace facing where their crappy motel pool is, or otherwise it's just the front door, if that makes sense. There's a front and a back.
Right. All right, let's try to... Actually, okay, he's staying in a motel. It's not like... Or is it an apartment complex?
It's a motel.
It's a motel, okay.
Yeah.
I would like to go to the front desk.
Okay.
Wait, do I know what room number he is in?
Yeah, he's in room 314.
Okay.
There's 3 floors. He's on the top floor.
Got it. Okay, yeah, so I would like to go to the front desk.
Okay. You're greeted by a tiny, round-shaped woman who is currently watching TV and pays you very little regard.
Okay. I'd like a room, please.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to say that we only currently have the executive suite, and that's going to be about 5 creds.
That's fine. Let me go back out to the car and check with my husband.
Oh, that sounds just fine. You go and talk to him. I'm going to be here waiting, okay? Have a nice night.
Okay. So, with that in mind, I go up to the 3rd floor like I have just checked in.
Okay. That's clever. I like that.
And how do I need to do like a detection check to see how observant these cops are being?
No, but you'll need to make a detection check the way it works in Technoir is you make checks anytime you want to put an adjective on somebody. So, for instance, a good example is dead is an adjective. It's not one you can put on every person, but that's an adjective that you can put on somebody, and it affects their play from then on.
Okay.
So what I'm going to say is you'll need to put some kind of adjective on, even if it is just unattentive.
Okay.
So we'll say you'll be making a detect roll to sort of pay attention to them to note that, and since you want them to be unattentive, that'll be their adjective.
Okay.
So now we're going to get into the how actions work.
Okay.
So you start out. The first thing to note is you start out with 3 push dice. These are bonus points that you can spend to boost your roll. You can also spend them to enhance adjectives to make them longer lasting, whether it just be a fleeting thing or make it a thing that lasts, that keeps going on.
Okay.
You can also use them to boost your reactions when the other party tries to make an action against you. So you'll start out with 3 of those dice. You can spend them or discharge them however you like. And I'll explain those a little bit more as we get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is add a number of action dice equal to your rating in the verb that you're using, which is detect.
Right.
So what's your detect rating?
It's a +2, so I have 3 overall. Yeah.
So you'll start out by rolling 3 action dice.
Okay. Are these 6-sideds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, standard 6-sided dice.
Okay.
So then the next thing I want to ask you is which adjectives, objects, or which adjectives or objects do you think could help you in this? And these are things that are on your like the adjectives on your objects or the adjectives on your character sheet.
Oh, the objects have adjectives. Okay.
Yeah, like the pistol is, I think, small and loud, I think.
I think it's just small.
Yeah, your gun is small. So if you could find a situation in which a small gun would help you.
Right. All right. Well, I'm not worried about the gun right now, and it doesn't look like any of my other things will help me in applying to this particular situation.
Okay. So then you're going to roll so then you're at 3 dice.
Yes.
Okay, then describe to me how you are sort of observing them without being noticed. What's your move?
Well, I've come up to the top of the steps, and I'm just kind of like peeking the corner. I want to see how attentive they are before I start actually walking towards them.
Okay, so now you're going to roll your 3 dice.
Okay.
And see if any of them get past a. If anything rolls higher than a 2 or 1. No, anything rolls higher than a 1.
All right, I got a 2, 4, 5.
Yeah, then you're good.
Okay.
So what you can do now, like I said, you have 3 of these push points.
Okay.
You can spend 1 or 2 now. Because first off, you get to add an adjective to them, which is a fleeting adjective. So it's something temporary that will go away momentarily.
Okay.
That represents how distracted they are. Distracted is a good one, for instance, or something to that effect.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, distracted. They're just chatting each other up, not really paying much mind. Okay.
You can spend one of these 3 push dice, which would mean you would give it to me, and then I could use it to hurt you later, to make that a longer lasting thing. If you want them to be inattentive, if you want them to be talkative, that can be you can spend a point for that, or inattentive or something. You can also spend 2 points to give them a permanent thing that represents the fact that the cops in this neighborhood are not doing their jobs well, if that makes sense. I'm
going to let this one ride out as it is.
Cool. So, they're kind of chatting each other up. They're laughing, they've got their hot dogs. But you can get by without being noticed. At least for now. It might become a thing where you might have to try it. You might have to sneak by again when you're exiting.
Okay.
Or you might have to find another way out. But you can at least get into the scene. You can get into the scene without a problem.
Oh, so I'm in the scene now.
Yeah. You can walk, or at least no. Yeah. What do you do once you've noticed that they're not paying attention?
So now,
sorry, I skipped ahead.
That's okay. So he's in room
314.
314. So I walk down to room 312.
Okay.
And she said there was a lot of vacancies, so I'm checking. It doesn't look like there's a light on in this room.
No, it is dark.
Okay.
It is clearly unattended.
That was a very leading question by me. It doesn't look like there's a light on in this room, does it?
It's all good. I like it.
So I attempt to get into the room by pretending this is where I'm checking into.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm going to have to do is, since we're in the future, hack the keypad.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, you can hack the keypad. You can brute force the door. It really depends on what you want to do.
Brute forcing it might draw too much attention.
That makes sense. So we're gonna do another roll.
Okay.
And we're gonna say you're gonna put the adjective "hacked" on the door itself.
Okay.
Again, you're gonna take the number of dice you've got for your hack skill.
Okay, 2.
Is there anything that you've got that can help you out with this? Any of your character's qualities, any of your character's equipment?
Well, I have that router patch, which is supposed to associate with hacking, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that'll work great. That'll work. It's linked up to the interface, which is the internet.
Okay.
Or the super sci-fi internet. So you can use that to add a point, an additional dice to your pool.
Okay.
So now you're working. You'll spend you'll discharge one of your 3 push dice. That means you'll get it back next time you attempt an action.
Okay.
So it's temporarily used up.
Okay.
But you get an extra dice. So now you'll be rolling 3 dice.
Okay. And what am I trying to hit here?
You'll be trying to hit, or 3. We'll say 3. 3 is good.
Fail.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing you'll do is circle or put a note or a mark next to your hack skill.
Okay.
That means that skill is primed. It can advance later if you get hurt. You can come back stronger and get a skill from that.
Okay.
So what happens now is the door itself starts like blaring, like a big beep of like unauthorized entry detected. Unauthorized entry detected.
Okay.
So there's like a big, the sound is coming off. You see the roundish woman from the front desk come out and like look up, and the cops who were distracted are starting to have looked up in your direction.
Okay.
So what's your move now?
I just look at the cops and shrug, and then I walk back downstairs to the front desk area.
That makes sense. So the woman is waiting for you at the bottom of the stairs. Did you get to talk to your husband about getting a room made up? About getting a card?
Yeah.
Because it kind of seems like you were just trying to break into a room.
I mean, that's how it might look, and I can see how you might think that.
All right. Yeah, let's make a roll for this. You're going to be trying to add an adjective to her to the effect of fooled or something like that.
Okay.
So, let's see. We'll call this coax.
Okay.
So I believe you're rolling 1 dice for that. Unless you have any of your, I do
have a coax, so I would get 2 for that.
Oh, okay, you're at 2? Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're at 2 dice. Is there anything that you have that you can add to this? Any of your qualities or equipment that you think might help you out in trying to fool this woman?
No, I don't think so. I don't want to pull a gun on her.
Okay.
Not yet. All right, what did I need?
You needed a 2.
All right, I got a 3.
Okay. So again, you've got your 3 push points. You can so you've got her fooled. You've got her tricked.
Okay.
Yeah. You can upgrade that into something more lasting if you want at this moment. Or it can be a temporary thing. Do you want her to be particularly gullible, or do you want to just sort of scrape by here? Or have her be fooled for now, but might potentially have to talk to her again later?
Let's use one of those push points and make her extremely gullible.
Okay. Gullible is a good adjective for her, so I'm going to write down gullible.
All right.
And now what that means is I get a push point to add to to make something more difficult for you.
Okay.
To make or if I hurt you, to make it a more lasting injury. So what did you say to her that she's just going to buy because she's gullible?
It turned out he already checked us in, and I tried to use his card, but it didn't work. Maybe we had the wrong motel.
What? Oh my goodness, that's... Oh, wait, let me check the thing. Hold on. You said 312? Hold on, let me check. Come on inside. Come on in. So the cops are looking at you and they're watching, and she's waving you, and she hits a remote, and the sirens go off, and the cops kind of are watching you. And now they've got their eye on you, but they're not. But they have no more reason to be alarmed because she's clearly like welcoming you back.
Okay.
She's looking through the computer. She's typing. Now I don't have any record of anybody booking room 312. Do you know the name that he had it under? Because I'm certain that if you were so certain that he already booked a room, I'm pretty sure you probably already booked a room. Sometimes I forget to file things once in a while.
Right. It's should be under. Oh crap! What the hell is that guy's name?
Which one? The Dumas or Sid?
Dumas. Yeah.
Dumas. Oh, you know what? I see the problem. I got you. It's room 314. You were trying to get into 312. That happens to me all the time. You go up there. You have a nice day now.
Okay. Thank you.
So she prints up a key card for room 314.
Okay.
Gullible ass woman. Love it. So yeah, you got the key card to 314.
Okay. Now, all right. So with a key card already to the hotel.
Yep.
Even though it's for the wrong room, would it make things easier on a second attempt at a hack at room 312?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Okay. All right. So I go back up to do the exact same thing.
Okay. So you roll in your hack. Your 2 dice for your hacked.
Yes.
2 dice for hack. Did you want to... You have 2 push points if you want to use them to make it easier for you by discharging them as part of this hacking roll.
No, I'm just gonna roll.
Okay.
Straight. All right, I got 2 3s.
All right, yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. You scrape by.
Right.
You start entering it, and you run into the same screen. Like you run into the same screen that tripped you up last time, like a password entry thing for the security override.
Okay.
But because you have the key card, you're able to look at the serial number on the back of it, and it accepts that as an override password. So you straight up scrape by the skin of your teeth.
Wonderful.
Because the way that Technoir works, when you roll a dice pool, if you have multiple things of the same number, it ups it by a tenth each time. So you had 3.1, and
Okay.
the difficulty was a 3. So a last-minute save got you into room 312.
Okay.
And it's a seedy motel room. It's there's no blood on the walls, and there's no stains that you can see without an ultraviolet light. But it's still crappy. Decor hasn't been updated since 2015, which is absurd because it's
Okay. Now, am I to assume then as well that these rooms are all pretty much identical?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that there's a way to the back terrace?
Yeah, there's a
okay.
back... Yeah, there's a sliding glass door in the back of the room.
Okay, so after going into the room, I lock the door.
Okay.
And then I immediately make way to the terrace.
Okay.
Because I'm going to try and terrace hop to 314.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So, what's going to happen now is I am going to try and put I'm going to make a roll.
Okay.
To try and put a adjective on you to represent you not making this jump.
Okay.
Because I don't like you, and I want bad things to happen to you.
And this is just for the first jump, right?
This is
to get to room 313.
Well, this is to get you just in the process of jumping across.
Okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll 2, and I'm going to spend that. I'm going to hold off on that because I might want to upgrade your wounds later.
Oh, good.
So you've got 2 push points. This is going to be a roll against your prowl rating, which is 2, unless I'm mistaken.
It is a 2. It's a 2. I have 1. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to be rolling 2 dice. You can choose to increase that number by spending by discharging a push point. So you have 2 that you can use. So you can choose to freely up that by 2, and then just describe how you're especially prepared to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you want that number to be higher, just let me. You can decide to make that number higher.
No, that's all right. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So what happens is you jump the first one and you're okay.
Okay.
Like, you make it to the first one. However, what happens on the second one... What happens on the second one is you don't get physically hurt. But as you're making the jump from 313 to 314, a cop walks out onto the terrace, sees you, and you see the implant that he has in his eye take a picture. Like you see the little lens click.
Okay.
So I am going to give you the adjective infamous.
Okay.
And we'll call that a sticky. It'll go away. It lingers until you take time to treat it.
Okay. That seems fair.
Yeah, you can make a I guess in this case it would be a hack roll to get into their system to get rid of that.
Right.
And when you do that, your hack might get better. And that's what I was saying earlier about when you circled your thing that it was primed.
Okay.
When you fail at rolls, it makes it so you can get better later when you have something bad happen to you and you get better from it.
Okay.
So, now a cop has seen you. There's a cop on the terrace. You've just landed basically face to face with him.
Okay.
Is there a problem? Put your hands up. Hands up. I don't know what you're doing, but hands up.
Okay, all right.
He draws out a pistol and just points it right at you.
All right, let's everybody take it easy. I was just trying to sneak in and surprise my lover.
Your lover? You know the guy in this room?
I did. I do.
Can I ask where you were this time last night?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Where were you last night?
Did you mean may I ask?
You're really going to do this to me right now? This is where we're going with this. We're in an Abbott and Costello routine?
Well, you know Abbott and Costello. That's fantastic. It's such a classic.
Cultural touchstones carried over into the futuristic world that we live in. Just because we live in the future doesn't mean comedy has changed enough that they're not relevant anymore. You know what? You're distracting me, okay?
That's true. Yes. Last night I was with my friend, my girlfriend.
I thought that the guy in here was your lover.
He is. When I say girlfriend, I mean friend who is also a girl.
Oh, I thought you meant...
we talk like that, girlfriend.
Hilarious misunderstanding. That's classic. That's good stuff. Can I get your girlfriend's name?
Killia. She's the singer over at the bar.
Oh, Killia 9, yeah. I saw her last week. She had a really nice show.
Yes, she is a delight.
Do you think you could get me her autograph? Because I really like that.
Would be something I would love to do for you.
All right. That's, I hate to tell you this, but, I don't know if you saw the cop cars outside, but, you might want to sit down, or lean against the terrace at least, because your lover's dead.
No. Dead?
Dead. He seems to have been murdered. Do you know anything about snakes?
I've seen snakes. I don't know much about them.
Well, yeah, there's I say there is, but there was, there seemed to be a snake in the apartment. Was he a fan of snakes? Is he a snake enthusiast?
Not.
We get a lot of snake-related accidents nowadays. They're the new hot pet. People adopt them when they're young.
Yeah, no, we were not into the snakes. I mean, I would think I would know, and as far as I know, no on the snake.
Huh. Okay, because there was a synthetic snake in the apartment, and it seems like there was a struggle. It seemed like the snake went wild, and he was bitten by a synthetic snake and poisoned and killed.
Well, that does not seem like he was a fan then, if there was a struggle.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out if it was just irresponsible pet ownership or if there was an issue.
Well, I mean, and was there a snake cage in the room? I mean, I think you could put those pieces together.
Are you sassing a police officer after you were just jumping terraces?
Oh, sorry, it's a lot for me to deal with right now, and the snakiness of nature.
I understand.
You
know what? You're right. I understand. It's a tough situation for anybody to be in. But if you would mind
Can we go inside and off the terrace?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
I would like to sit in a seat.
That's probably a good idea. So he opens the sliding glass door. There's another officer. The door has been opened.
Okay.
The two officers from earlier are just kind of doing a few peeks around, and there's an older, portly gentleman there as well.
Okay.
It seems like their supervisor has gotten there to sort things out.
Sure.
Who is this? Who the hell is this? He points at you. Where'd you come from?
Okay.
Was she here this whole time? Who are you?
My name is Faith. I was coming to surprise my boyfriend.
Well, your boyfriend got quite a surprise already, so I think that you're good.
I've heard.
What exactly have you heard, Faith?
Well, I've heard that I no longer have a boyfriend. And this kind officer here.
Now, I should specify that she says boyfriend, but apparently she uses that term real willy-nilly, so that might not be like a declaration of romantic intent. I made that mistake earlier. Were you stooping this guy?
I mean, that is a pejorative that's kind of our private.
All right, I'm gonna let's do this as a roll. I think this will be good. So make me a roll to try and get this guy on your side, or at least placated enough that he's not thinking that you're involved in this.
Okay, all right. I mean, I am a little bit savvy. That is one of my words.
Okay.
So
you've got 3 dice, so you can use discharge one of your dice to add savvy to your roll.
Okay, let's do that.
So we'll call it Cokes, so that's 2 dice.
All right.
So you get 3 dice.
Plus 3 dice, all right.
Unless there's anything else of your qualities or...
No, I'm gonna roll with those. Yeah, let's roll with that. All right, what am I looking for?
You're looking for 4.
I got a 5 and a 6.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. So you can choose to spend one of your push points to make this more of a permanent trait, or you can give him an adjective that is fleeting.
All right, let's go with a fleeting adjective of amiable.
Okay, so this you and him had a fling, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's useful. Sometimes in these illicit affairs situations, the other woman gets involved, unhappy marriage, that kind of thing. Usually we can use that to sort of draw a line between him and his spouse. So did you know his spouse? This Miss Larson?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Well, I mean, I do. I mean, did something happen to her?
No, but we're just looking into where she was to see if she, may have had a hand in this.
I see. Well, we are close, the 3 of us.
Is this a sex thing?
Again,
no judgment. I got no judgment.
We're encroaching on some sensitive materials that I would prefer not to disclose in a room full of men.
Well, a dude just got a snake bitten by a snake, so I feel like it's about a sentence already. The level of was that too much information? Should I not have?
Well, at least now I know.
That was maybe, that was my bad. Yeah, okay, so you were friends, and air quotes noted, with this couple?
Correct.
Was there any tension between them?
Never around me.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for us for now. I didn't know if you had any effects here in the apartment. If this is all anything that's deemed evidence, but I mean, just personal stuff. If you want to pick it up, I'm gonna look the other way.
Well, thank you for that kindness. And, I actually do have several things here that I needed to, take if at all possible.
Yeah, just, if you want to hang out on the terrace, we'll run through things one more time, and then we'll let you grieve.
Thank you.
We're gonna keep Bill in the room just so you're not, collecting your snake because you're secretly a snake assassin. Right?
Too soon.
That's fair. That was my bad. Okay, so yeah, the officer you talked to earlier, Bill, is sort of chilling in the corner.
Okay.
He's looking at his iPad. So what are you doing in the room now that you're alone, except with another man?
Okay. Since I didn't know what I was actually looking for, right?
Sure.
Would I need to roll for a detect to see if I can see in the room what I'm looking for?
No, just tell, like, if there's anything in particular you're looking for, no. Otherwise, just let me know, and I can throw some stuff out.
All right. I would be looking for his phone, a ledger, a notepad, perhaps.
Yeah, okay, so his phone and notepad have definitely been taken as evidence. Like, you see them in the little bags.
Sure.
You go to pick up the phone, and Bill's like, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say to our good friend Bill.
Okay.
Listen, before this goes to police evidence, there are some photos. I would like to not be in police evidence of my personage.
They're not of you planning a snake murder, are they?
Come on.
I don't mean that as a joke. I gotta ask.
No, that is just some sensitive, less clothing.
Oh, booby pic. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, I don't need to take it out of the bag. I could probably just thumb through it on the outside of this bag.
That's all good. You do what you gotta do.
Thank you. Okay, so now I check the phone.
Okay.
And even though I don't have access to actually touching the system, let me look at my headset here. Does it have any kind of... All right, so I'm trying to understand here. So cerebral input, experimental linked, nerve linked. Like, is that... Oh, okay, no, I don't have the optical splice. Okay, I was going to say if it would, like, save that data that I look at or not.
No, but what you can do is you can make a roll on this phone.
Okay.
With a difficulty of 2. Or 3. We'll say difficulty 3.
Okay.
You can make a roll using your head jack to try and put an adjective on the phone. Put a linked adjective on the phone.
Okay.
That way you can kind of go through with your head jack. You can at least pull up the files on it.
Okay.
Discreetly.
That sounds good to me.
So, do you want to add any of your 3 points?
No, I'm going to try with just 2.
Okay. You need 3 or better. 3.1 or better.
All right, I got a 3 and a 4.
Yeah. So you're looking through it. You discreetly kind of pull up the file. So what do you? Is that anything else you want to do in the room? Or are you good?
Well, all right. So I can't look through the ledger because that's probably not hackable. But I did finish with the phone. So what else would a girl want to look for in a room that wouldn't be construed as evidence? And the snake bit him. So was he naked?
He's in a bathrobe. He had clearly checked in for the night.
Okay, so he's out of his pants.
Yeah, he's got boxers on.
Do we still have wallets in the future?
We can. I don't see why not. Wallets are really useful. Where else you keep things.
All right. Does it look like his wallet has been taken as evidence?
So it's not on his person. You can make a roll against this officer to kind of look around away from him.
Okay.
Kind of look around and make sure that he's not attracting his attention.
Okay.
Give him an adjective like, again, distracted or something.
Sure, yeah, distracted. So what would I be... How many rolls would I get for that?
You're going to roll your prowl.
Okay, so I have 1 extra, so I have 2. Okay.
And then any of your things you want to add to that, you can add to it.
Nope, just rolling with 2 dice.
Okay. You need a 2 or you need a 2.1 or better.
All right, I got a 5 and a 4.
Okay, yeah, he's deep in his iPad. You can hear the soft sounds of YouTube cat videos playing.
Okay.
And he's having the time of his life.
All right, so I glance around the room to kind of look and see if he left his wallet in his pants.
You find it in one of the drawers of the motel, like the drawers on the nightstand.
Okay.
That's the word I'm looking for.
All right, and I'll take that.
Okay, yeah, you grab that, you stash that. Anything else? While this guy's distracted, you kind of have a chance to do anything that might catch his eye. Anything subtle you can probably get away with without needing a roll. at least temporarily.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything with the body. And if the snake was in the room, that means they would have known that he was here. So they probably wouldn't have been able to come in the front door unless the thing. Oh, okay. So no, I'm done here.
Okay.
And I thank Bill for his time and let him know to stop by the bar.
Sure.
If he wants to make do on that promise for an autograph.
Sure.
And now I go back down to the front desk.
Okay. Did you get into the room okay? I saw that them officers went up shortly after you went up. I didn't know if that was if they had a problem.
No, everything is perfectly fine.
Okay.
I suppose.
Just making sure.
One question for you. Can I see the bill of service for the room?
Oh yeah, sure. She prints it out. It's paid in advance. 1 week. What are you looking for on it?
I'm just looking for his check-in date.
Oh yeah, it's about a week. About a week ago. He pays by the week, so it's Sunday.
So he's been there for some time.
Yeah.
So other people could have seen that he has been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Besides my key, did you issue any other keys to him?
We gave him 2 keys when he checked in. Figured he would have given you one since you were his wife, but we usually give people a standard 2 pair of keys, 2 keys per person, and then we print an extra if they need them. Service is very important to us.
Sure. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You have a lovely day now.
You too. Okay. Is Sid still nearby in his car waiting for me? Was that the deal, or did he just jet out of town?
He's waiting. He's blasting heavy metal music in his car and just thrashing. The doors are closed. The windows are. You can still kind of hear it, and he's just thrashing.
Okay. All right. So I'll go back to his car, and it's going to take me back to my place so I can go over the findings.
Yeah, okay, but I'm gonna leave the volume up for this song, and then I'll turn it back down. He never turns the volume back down. Okay, so you've got his wallet, you've got access to the files on his phone, at least while the phone is turned on.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least as long as the battery lasts, because they're probably not gonna plug it back in.
Sure.
You've got his checkout receipt. What type of information are you looking for here?
Okay, so while I'm connected to his phone, now that I'm home, can I download that to my own computer?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so you've got his files on your computer.
All right. And then, while all that's downloading, I'm going through his wallet to see if there's any indication of where he's been hanging out these last couple of days. Any receipts?
There is a business card.
Okay.
For a gentleman's club called Trashies.
Trashies, all right.
Trashies. And the woman on the card seems to appear. It's shot from the waist up. She appears to be naked, except covering her chest she's holding a snake.
Well, isn't that something?
End transmission. And yeah, that was super, super fun. I'm really liking this. I'm really excited.
This it's fun to play around in this world.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Well, Luke, I look forward to you coming back onto the show. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing Faith's adventures here in the future, and I really hope Bill gets that autograph.
I'm hoping he does too. I'm rooting for that guy. I think I'm rooting for him even more than Faith, if I'm being 100% honest. Thank you so much for coming on Party of One. Real quick, just want to run through your Twitter. You're on the Twitters.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm on the Twitters. M as in Matthew, which is my actual first name, and then Luke Brown on the Twitter, and comicsalliance.com.
Alliance, Arcade Sushi.
Arcadesushi.com, and that's come at me.
So good. All right, yeah. So I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so he can wrap up the show, and we'll get you scheduled for part 2.
Sounds good.
All right, take it, future me.
They said you only live once. Well, I beg to differ, cause you can live forever through the feelings you deliver.
Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Luke for coming on to the show. I had such a good time, and I cannot wait to dive into the next part of Faith's story. You can check out more from Luke at comicsalliance.com or arcadesushi.com, or follow him on Twitter at mlukebrown. And while you're at it, you can follow this show on Twitter at PartyOfOnePod, like it on Facebook at facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast, and if you're feeling just the most generous, you can hop onto iTunes and give the show a nice review. 5-star reviews are really helpful in getting new people to find the show. Party of One is produced by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank, and edited by Jeff Stormer. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Random, aka Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. Until next time, party people, thanks for listening, and remember, you and me, together, I think you and me are the person we both wish we could be. And I know that person can do pretty much anything.
Never gonna die.